many don't know the actual history of some of these goddesses and gods. Some of them actually did live on Earth before. And because there's no history of it, people don't know it. And what they've then done instead is created some belief that they're just some made up deity. But the truth is that many of them did live before on Earth. And so I'm just discovering that myself. And I haven't like openly said it to the public yet, but like Lakshmi, yesterday this week, I was channeling in my oracle card. I'm creating these and I was channeling, okay, you know, when you do the about section, I thought, oh, I can't say she's a goddess. She's some made up thing. She's not. I feel her as a human, once human. And even the painter had painted her in a human aura, exactly the way I see her. So I got this information of where she's from. And she said the name of the city she was born in India. And I didn't even know if that was India. And I thought, I'm just going to trust. And she explained what she lived a poor life. But then she was courageous enough to leave the village and believe in that she could create an abundant life. And she landed in a fortress and she ended up uncovering some treasures, and she shared them with others. And so she was known as someone who was, she had what was the word they used? I can't remember the word, but a certain smile, a smile of abundance, that kind of smile. And she had a kind heart and she had a festive nature. So that's what I was told this week when I tapped in. And so although she's been revered as some deity, some made up thing, she's saying no, she lived actually on Earth in ancient times. So this is the thing, is that, you know, goddess Isis, she lived also. I'm shown that Athena lived as well. Isis lived in Atlantean times. And so many of these goddesses, I'm kind of uncovering that, okay, maybe many of them actually did live. If there are some that haven't, I still need to figure out their purpose. But what my feeling is, for those who are just created and haven't lived on Earth, my feeling is that they were created in the same way that archangels were, to assist with specific issues that people need help with on Earth.
Yeah, thank you. And from Indian scriptures perspective, I can say that they're still there as the causal bodies. That's what I understand, that Lakshmi consciousness is still there at the causal body level. And because I have experienced it myself. So yeah, beautiful. So what practices or rituals or routines do you suggest for people who are struggling in their day-to-day life?
Yeah, so when you say struggling, would you refer to all kinds of struggles or grieving?
Yeah, all kinds of struggles. There are certain ancestral intergenerational traumas that we take. There are certain inner child wounds that we have. So there are so many different types of wounds and subconscious patterns that we carry, because of which we struggle. And then of course then there is day-to-day struggle in whether it's work or anything like normal struggles.
Okay, so Kuan Yin wants to answer that question. So I'm gonna connect with her because it's so much information they want to give. She wants to give, so I'm gonna just tap into that. And just so you know, I touch my heart because what I'm doing is I'm giving myself Reiki, and I'm experiencing, and so it enables me to stay focused in this area and to feel the divine flowing through me, which then keeps me in tune. So for those people who want to learn how to channel, that's I wanted to share that. Beloved one, welcome. You asked such a pertinent question, one that humanity experiences day after day after day. They struggle. They struggle not only because of circumstances that are out of their control, but they too struggle because their mind has gone adrift and they have led themselves astray with their mind. In fact, their mind is their drug to keep them astray so that they can feel safe. And so, what can one do to be able to feel safe? That is ultimately the thing that is going on here. I'm not referring to grieving. I will get to that in a moment. But with regards to all other situations that occur, the default is always to go to feel safe. When someone's work is not functioning very well, when they're struggling with their boss, then what happens is they feel a lot of pain. They're in there experiencing their pain body. And so what does one do? One then defaults to complaining about the situation and feeling like they're out of control and life is so hard and so forth. And now you know they're going down the negative spiral, believing that everything is so hard. But if they could look beyond that and see beyond the illusion and realize that maybe their boss is having a hard time in his or her life. Maybe that boss is experiencing something that you do not know of. Maybe that boss is not an enlightened being yet and hasn't arrived there. Why not have compassion and understanding for this person so that you can experience a new kind of reverence for him or her as well? Because all divinity is to be revered, everything, including yourself. So when you can have this understanding and this connection, then you can feel, you can return back to the heart center to experience the divinity through everything. And also to show the body that it is safe, to help the body to understand that it is not struggling, that the body tries to reform itself so that you can feel safe. The body thinks it is unsafe in those circumstances. All the circumstances that seem so struggling, then one feels so unsafe. And I'm not referring to actual events where someone's safety is compromised. That is the only time when one should pay attention and make sure that their body is in safe hands. But all the other situations that occur in life, general, the pain that is occurring is in the mind. And so when you can stray from the mind and go to the heart, you can look at opportunities instead of seeing struggles. So the goal here is to see the opportunities instead of the struggles. With regards to grieving, one must experience the loss. One must experience the lost love that they had for that person that they're grieving for, to realize that it was a gift that they had, that precious short moment with this person while they're here in human form. And yes, they can go on onto other planes, and you experience them as well in those planes. But first you must grieve the loss of the human form, that person who vibrated through that beautiful, precious form. And then you move on and you experience the blissful part of who they are now. And you get to unite with that lovely soul in that other plane and experience a new relationship, because it will be new, because you will now dive deep into who they truly are, their true selves, and you will experience a new relationship. You will find that those ascended ones are more knowledgeable, are more in tune with divine wisdom, who know their ways, who are experiencing joy, who realize where the divine is at all times. And so you get to have that relationship with that person. Know this, though, you can also communicate with thought forms, with that person who doesn't exist anymore, you thinking that that is the actual person. And instead, when you can shift your focus and raise your vibrational frequency, because they have raised theirs. Once they have left their body, they're in a different form. They're experiencing their energetic field, and in that energetic field, you're experiencing a rise in consciousness. And so that consciousness is what you are to attune yourself to realize that they are divine beings now, that they are precious ones united with the Holy One. And so raise your consciousness and experience them in their enlightened form. And when you get to experience their enlightened form, then you experience their divine selves. You experience this new relationship, and do not feel like you need to get to know them on the way that you knew them before. feel that you get to know them on this new way, this new enlightened being, because you too knew them before you came here. And so you also have an enlightened being who can communicate with this being once you leave this planet. So you also know that you can communicate with this being here, but you do not remember who this being is because you are now in human form. So just take some time, raise your consciousness, and be open to the concept that this person that you're to connect to is a new being, is the enlightened being. And this is the place that you return to when you leave this body. You will commune as relationships with each other in your own enlightened selves. So this is the opportunities that you guys get to see and experience with each other.
Oh, thank you.
I can feel my third eye like opened up like crazy.